We're here today to talk about your use of the programming language I'm not sure what you call it exactly, programming language / networking capability of Signal K. Is that a good way to say it, you think?
Signal K is a piece of software that runs as a server on a small Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a central repository for all data from the NEMA 2000 network, and where it shows its strength is it allows you to collect your own data through a number of different ways and include that in that data repository along with your NEMA 2000 data. Examples of that might, an add-on sensor is something that you mentioned, is like the air Mars wind sensor. That all that data would come in and be part of not just the ship's data, but as part of the Signal K data.
Right.
And once the data gets into Signal K, I can look at it anywhere in the world on my telephone. That's the strength of Signal K.
Yeah. So what were your options besides Signal K to get this type of logging information, data information, those types of things?
There's all kinds of different commercial systems. There are people that sell services, and I can't speak to any particular service or any particular production, but there's the major manufacturers provide different sensors, different sophisticated displays, are allowing you to create your own displays more often. But and then there's other people that charge a service to monitor your boat and provide you that data, off your boat or on a cell phone or on a computer connection some way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
go ahead.
All of those are very expensive, and I'm a former sailor, and so I don't have I don't make those kind of expenses. The cost for the equipment that we've installed in Magnolia is all the hardware combined is probably $100.
Yeah.
A lot of time, but $100.
Right. The very most popular one seems to be Meritron. Offers these suite of sensors, the networking capability and the logging information. And you're about to show us some dashboard information that basically summarizes this into usable data on an ongoing basis. But Meritron is a very expensive solution. It's also a turnkey solution. It's also not a DIY solution. But you excited me, Anthony, when you said you were up for doing this interview, because Signal K is definitely a way to build your own setup that gives you this information. And I'm doing yacht production now for another company besides Krogen, and that subject comes up all the time with new boat buyers. How can I use this data, particularly the AirMar data? Just as simple as being able to watch the trend in barometric pressure over the last 24 hours. That's like a very simple, very straightforward thing that pretty much everyone should have on board. The question is, how do you get that information? Cool. All right, can you give us a little tour, or you got anything else you want to prep us with?
I can show you a couple of screens. Let me try this. Can you see that, sir?
Yeah, that's a lot of graphs.
Yeah, so basically what we're looking at is, as you said about you're interested in trends. What you have here is essentially the house bank battery over the last 24 hours. And then this is the solar contribution over the last 24 hours. And down here is a separate dinghy hoist battery that I keep for, it runs the hoist operation up on the flybridge deck. On this graph, you can see the house battery voltage, solar batteries, solar voltages, and then this is the dinghy hoist battery that runs the hoist operation up on the flybridge. Couple of things to note here. You can see, like, this is when solar started coming up around 6:30 this morning. The solar arrays, started generating voltage, and then you can see clearly that, at what time it starts charging your batteries. And this is the voltage, and the green line down here is the current as it starts to come up over time.
Oh, nice.
One of the other, this just, none of this stuff is overly useful, but it's just additional insight into what you're doing on your boat. For example, like this is the house bank voltage. Magnolia's been at the dock now for the last few weeks, so it's not as good, having a charger running all the time. It's a lot more useful when you don't have a charger running and you're running simply off of solar. But you can see right here, like through the night, where the refrigeration kicks on and off. That's what those little voltage drops are here. So you can actually tell, how much voltage you're using, how much energy you're using, just simply on those kind of runs.
And you can tell the proportion of time that the compressor was running in the last 12 hours. I mean, you can kind of just laterally add up that time, right, by zooming.
Yes. Yeah. So, you can adjust, this display package, this is a public domain display package that, connects into a database, and this stuff all just happens, and it's, you got to take the time to understand it and operate it, but you can pull out any piece of data. For example, this is the dashboard that I currently use. Similar here, giving you the house and current stuff, but also provides a minimum and maximum voltage, for all the different items. You can see, the house bank voltage is up to 14 volts, and solar is kicking out at 17.5. Also provides current, that kind of information. So there's a lot of data here that you can take advantage of.
And what's the name of that dashboard software?
This is called Graphna. And it, as part of Signal K has a connector. Signal K software is free. It has a connector to something called InfluxDB, which runs on the Raspberry Pi as well. It's a free software. It's a free database program. And Graphna, with this data that you're looking at here, is being selected from that database and displayed on your screen. So it's all of this stuff is free. The only thing it costs you is time to implement it.
And the InfluxDB and the Graphna softwares are Raspberry Pi specific, or are they available for Windows or for a Mac or anything like that?
Well, the Signal K, they have it running on a Raspberry Pi, and I understand there's some Mac implementations. This is being displayed on my, this is just a web page that is being displayed on my PC. It's making a call over to my Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
And
so
that's
so what you're saying is that from a Helm station perspective, all you're really looking for is a browser to access this information from the brain box that is the Raspberry Pi running those.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely,
yeah,
sir.
And a Raspberry Pi, just to give people some context here, to buy a Raspberry Pi, have the memory in it, that type of thing, about what kind of money are we talking about?
I think around $40.
Yeah, so the NEMA cables are likely to cost you more than the Raspberry Pi did.
Much so.
Real possibility, yeah. I just want to give people a context of why this is as interesting as it is. It's a lot of effort, like you said at the very beginning there. But the cost, it really is a cost thing, and it can be added on without affecting or disabling the systems that are currently on board, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the critical thing is, I don't consider any piece of consumer electronics to be marine quality, nor would I trust it, if I'm offshore. Right. I want everything to be marine quality, and then this extra data that can run on a consumer device, and that's easy. Going back to what you said about connecting it to your NEMA system, the easiest way to connect Signal K to your NEMA system is probably what I would say is like an ActiSense bus device. Those are, I think, about $100. That's going to be the most expensive piece of hardware that you purchase. They're often used for connecting a PC to your NEMA network so that you can get GPS data and such like that. But that provides all of the NEMA related data over to Signal K.
Yeah, cool. All right. And what else do you like to show?
We could, my favorite parlor trick is Alexa, open Signal K.
Welcome to Signal K. You can ask a question like, what's the wind speed? Now, what can I help you with?
What's the battery voltage?
The battery sensor monitor battery voltage is 14.1 volts. The house battery voltage is 14.4 volts. The engine battery voltage is 14.5 volts. The dinghy hoist battery voltage is 12.3 volts.
So cruising with Alexa is the thing now, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, evidently. It's only a parlor trick.
Now, Anthony, tell me how is Alexa connected to that system? Physically, how it's connected?
It's through the internet. You need, all of this stuff will work on board the vessel. But anytime that you want to have connectivity off the vessel, or the support services of Alexa, you need to be connected to the internet.
Yeah.
So essentially what happens is Signal K has the ability to send data up to a cloud, and then Alexa, an Alexa skill has been developed that connects Alexa to that cloud data, and so she can retrieve that cloud data.
But you have to be connected to the cloud.
Yes,
so,
sir. Yeah.
And have you run Alexa, or have you run that connection to the cloud away from the dock? And if so, how do you go about doing that?
We're kind of unique that we have ubiquitous internet here on Magnolia. I have a jetpack that is grandfathered in on a Verizon plan, unlimited data, blah, blah, blah. So as long as we have connectivity to Verizon, we have internet on the boat.
So it backhandedly can become a way to know whether you've got a connection or not, because when you're sitting at the helm or and running the boat and wondering if you have a connection, you can ask Alexa a question. If she doesn't answer, you don't have a connection to the cloud. Is that a fair way to say it?
We ran up to New England this summer, and even running along the coast of New Jersey, I think we were maybe 7 or 8 miles off. We had good Verizon coverage all the way up. I mean, there's very little areas along the East Coast that don't have good Verizon coverage. Now, Maine has terrible coverage, but that's getting off the subject, sorry.
Yeah, right. And we should stay on the subject because these videos are supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes long, and we may have geeked out longer than that already, although I have some sweet editing tools to get it.
Yeah,
anyway,
you're gonna have to work.
So probably just sticking at this 30,000 foot level here. Anything else you want to add to the story, you think?
I think one of the most powerful things is this is a product. This is a drag and drop capability that's built into part of Signal K, and it's called NodeRed, and it allows me to take the ship's data. For example, ship's wind speed comes out in meters per second, out of the system. And so, it allows me, I convert that into, whatever measurement I need and send that off the boat. So I can get it on my phone that says, hey, it's blowing 30 knots at your boat. Are the lines good? That,
right.
That kind of data is available across the board, those kind of things. I have, you can see these lines here that come up to battery current alarm. These alarms are actually voice. They're down in the other thing, and I don't have things tested here or set up to show you here. But it will come up and says, hey, the bilge sensor alarm is going off. The bilge pump's been running longer than it should. Maybe you should go down and check. And so those are actually voice announcements that come out across the boat. And this NodeRed allows me to, drag and drop that kind of stuff. And just create these alarms as we see fit. The other thing is that, a lot of home automation stuff is coming online. And, one of the things that we're doing here is, I'm still experimenting with this, but, when that alarm goes off, I can turn the lights on in the master stateroom and in the salon. If it's going off in the middle of the night, I can have it turn on the lights so that, it just is an extra alarm of, there's something's bad on the boat right now. You need to go take care of it.
And does that work on and off the cloud connection, or what?
This will work on the boat. I'm sorry. This will work without a cloud connection.
Sweet. Very nice. Very nice.
That's why you run these local servers, Signal K and such. You need to run these servers locally so that you cut yourself off from the cloud as a requirement.
Excellent. Cool. Very nice.
So, we're in the process of integrating more Alexa into the system. I hope to be able to do some Alexa stuff on board the vessel. I'm still figuring that out, but without a cloud connection, perhaps some Alexa functionality. We're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Oh, so there is a possibility of that, because I always thought Alexa needed a cloud connection always.
That's what I think, but I'm not giving up yet.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
That's the Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
Is that showing that? And then, so here what we have is I can set conditions on the vessel. For example, like fuel valves closed, or the inverter being bypassed and we're connected to alarm. And so when I make changes on the vessel, I set that condition there, and then there's a small annunciator there that I don't know if you can see the flashing light.
Yeah.
That tells me that there's something out of normal on the vessel. And so it just keeps, how many times have you started the engine with the fuel valves closed, so that happens there. This is our normal helm display that's available. This is all data is being driven from Signal K.
Got to point it up a little bit more there, Anthony. We're only seeing the bottom of the iPad. Is that an iPad there, or what is that?
Yeah, this is an iPad here that runs here, and this is a product that connects to Signal K server and provides this data on here.
And the name of that iPad software is?
That's Wilhelm SK.
Oh, Wilhelm. Okay.
It just happens that Scott Bender is one of the primary developers of Signal K. It's primarily out of Europe, but I'm blessed to have Scott just up the Chesapeake Bay from us here. And he's a great resource. You can get a lot of help from people.
Well, and YouTube's got a ton of this information, and that's why I keep asking you for the specific names of the specific product, just for Google searching, YouTube searching, things like that, to get more context. Yeah.
I can't do this stuff for anyone, but anyone that's interested, I will gladly coach and provide whatever input I can and whatever help I can. But each vessel is different. It's the limitations are just only on your imagination.
Yeah.
The cost of this stuff is practically nothing. I mean, it's just your time that's going to cost you. So I highly recommend spending a little time, and it gives you a lot of insights into your vessel.
Yeah, awesome. Anthony, thank you very much for this interview. I think that this is really going to be one of the more popular videos at the Rendezvous, and probably on YouTube after that. And because it's really showing a contextual use of this stuff and not just kind of concept. I mean, I know the concept's there too also, but that it's just kind of an amazing future we have in terms of automating our boats without doing it one $7,000 display at a time, I guess is the way I'll
Yes, that's why I said, that's why I had to, I do it this way is it exercises my mind, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it's practically free. I mean, this thought, we have sensors. I'm sorry. Well, this is one of the sensors. This is the solar sensor that actually
Can
collects the.
you zoom into that a little bit there, or just pull it in?
That's the solar sensor, and that's hardware that I've built. It runs on an Arduino ESP, and it connects to the signal case server via Wi-Fi, reporting its data on solar panels current voltage. It also reports the dinghy hoist battery voltage for the fly bridge, and that data all gets sent to the Raspberry Pi via Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
awesome.
this hardware is nothing. I mean, it doesn't cost anything, just your time and energy.
Right. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Again,
thank you so
for your
much.
time.
We won't publish your email address, although I think everyone in this group can find it.
Yeah.
In the hopes that you don't get flooded. I don't know. I'll be curious to see what the response is to this video. As you can tell, I'm an enthusiast about it.
But anything we can do to help, I'm always here to help, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony.
Have a great day.
You too.